Hello, everyone, and welcome. In this explainer, we are going to break down everything you need to know about sound waves for your KSSM syllabus. So whether you're just starting this chapter or you need a quick revision before your exams, you're in the right place. Okay, let's dive right in with a question I'm pretty sure you've all thought about during a thunderstorm. By the end of this session, you'll know exactly why this happens. So keep this question at the back of your mind as we go along. So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the basics, then build up to the different properties of sound, check out some really cool real-world tech, and finish off with some solid exam tips to help you score. Ready? Let's do this. First things first, let's tackle the biggest question of all. What is sound, really? I mean, we hear it all day, every day, but what's actually going on from a physics point of view? Well, here's the main thing to get. Sound isn't a thing. You can't hold it. It's actually a form of energy, and this energy gets created whenever something vibrates, moves back and forth super fast. Think about a guitar string when you pluck it, or even your own vocal cords when you talk. So how does this energy travel? Well, check this out. It all starts with a vibration. That vibration makes the particles right next to it start to vibrate too. Then those particles bump into their neighbors and so on and so on. It's like a domino effect that carries the energy outwards in a wave. And that whole domino effect of particles bumping into each other leads us to a golden rule you absolutely have to remember. Sound needs something to travel through. We call this a medium. It can be a gas, like the air, a liquid like water, or a solid like a table. No particles, no sound. Simple as that. And if you need proof, here's the classic experiment that shows it perfectly. You put an alarm clock inside a glass jar, and you can hear it ringing, no problem. But when you start pumping the air out of the jar, creating a vacuum, the sound just fades away until it's completely silent. That's the ultimate proof right there.
Okay, so if sound needs a medium, does it travel at the same speed in all of them? No way. This chart makes it super clear. Sound travels fastest in solids because the particles are packed really close together, so they pass on the vibration almost instantly. In gases like air, though, the particles are all spread out, so it's much slower. And that answers our big question from the start. Light is way faster than sound, so you always see the lightning flash long before you hear the thunder. Cool, right?
Okay, good job. We've got the basics down. Now, let's look at the two main ways we describe a sound: how loud it is and how high or low it is. You can think of these as the control knobs for sound. So what are these control knobs in physics terms? It all comes down to the wave's shape. First, you have amplitude. That's basically the height or the power of the wave. A big wave has more energy. Then you have frequency. That's how many waves pass by a certain point every second. It's all about how fast it's vibrating. And here is the key link you have to remember for your exams, okay? It's a direct relationship. The higher the amplitude, the louder the sound. The higher the frequency, the higher the pitch. So a loud, deep drum has a high amplitude but a low frequency. A soft, high-pitched whistle has a low amplitude but a high frequency. But our ears can't hear everything. We've got limits. We measure frequency in a unit called hertz, or Hc. A healthy person can usually hear from about 20 hertz, which is a really low rumble, all the way up to 20,000 hertz, which is a super high-pitched whine. Anything outside that range is silent to us. All right, next up, just like light, sound waves can interact with surfaces. They can either bounce off them, which we call reflection, or they can get soaked up, which we call absorption. So what makes the difference? It's all about the surface. Hard and smooth surfaces, like the walls in an empty hall or a marble floor, are great at reflecting sound. They bounce it right back at you, and that's what creates an echo. But soft and rough surfaces, like carpets, curtains, or even the softboards in your classroom, they are excellent sound absorbers. They kind of trap the sound energy and stop it from bouncing around. Now, here's something really cool that happens when the source of a sound is moving. I'm sure you've all heard this. Think of an ambulance siren. As it's coming towards you, the pitch sounds really high, right? Nina, Nina. But as soon as it passes you and moves away, the pitch suddenly drops. Nina, Nina. That change you hear is the Doppler effect. The siren isn't actually changing its tune, it's just the sound waves getting squished together as it approaches and stretched apart as it leaves. Now for the really fun part. How do we actually use all this physics knowledge in real life? Well, understanding sound has led to some pretty mind-blowing technology. Hey, remember that hearing range we talked about?
Well, any sound with a frequency higher than 20,000 hertz is called ultrasound. We can't hear it, but many animals like bats and dolphins can, and we figured out how to use it for ourselves.
And the uses are just amazing. Ships use sonar to send sound waves down to map the ocean floor. Doctors use ultrasound scanners to get the very first pictures of a baby in the womb, which is incredible. And even the perfect sound you hear in a cinema. That's because they've used our knowledge of sound absorbers to design the room.
All right, team, let's bring it all home. We're going to bust a few common myths, and then I'll give you some killer tips to make sure you are 100% ready for your exams.
Okay, first up. You've all seen those space movies where a giant spaceship explodes with a massive boom. Now, based on what we've learned today, is that actually possible? The answer is a huge no. This is a classic exam question, so listen up. Remember the bell jar experiment? Space is a vacuum. There are no particles for the sound to travel through. So in real life, a giant explosion in space would be completely, totally silent.
Okay, here's another one you've probably noticed. If you shout in an empty room, you get a big echo. But once you fill that room with a sofa, carpets, and curtains, the echo is gone. What's going on? It's not magic, it's just physics in action. Remember our reflectors and absorbers? All that soft furniture, the sofa, the rug, the curtains, they all act like giant sound sponges. They absorb the sound energy, stopping it from bouncing off the walls and coming back to you as an echo.
Okay, people, screenshot time. This is your cheat sheet. If you only remember 5 things from this whole video, make it these 5 points. Sound is a vibration, needs a medium. Amplitude is loudness, frequency is pitch. Hard surfaces reflect, soft surfaces absorb. If you can nail these concepts and give an example, like sonar, you'll be in great shape for your exam.
And to finish off, let's have a little HOTS question for you to think about, a higher order thinking skills question. Based on everything we've talked about, if you had to design a recording studio for your favorite artist, what kind of materials would you use on the walls and floors to get the best sound quality? Give it some thought. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and all the best with your studies.